What's going on? It's about time we did our 2019 gear loadout videos, and these loadout videos are a little bit different than what we've done in the past. Now, if you've been following our channel for the past couple months, you know we just got these light AF packs, and we're really gonna try and make a go at some frameless trips this year. And the way the cards kind of fell, this year we'll be able to do most of our trips frameless. So this is gonna be the frameless loadout. Now, spoiler alert, the base weight here is literally 10.3, 10.4 pounds with the chair. So not low enough to be considered ultra light, but whatever. It's still super light. It's still frameless. This is a big change for us. So we're gonna go through my frameless 2019 loadout. Now, what are the differences between this loadout and our standard kind of frame pack loadout? The biggest differences first, obviously, is the pack. We're going from an Arc Haul to a light AF 40 liter curve. Not getting rid of the Arc Haul, still keeping that for longer 5, 6, 7 day trips, but happens to be this year, our big out west trip is gonna be broken up into 2, 3, or 4 day trips. So we can get away with the frameless. So the biggest difference between this loadout and our normal loadouts is the pack. Second difference is because we don't film with our phones anymore, that really frees up a lot of excess weight and electronics we had to carry. Now, we kind of make that weight back up in the camera systems we use now, and we'll get there. But I'm not taking external Anchor power chargers anymore or anything like that. And then another difference between this loadout and kind of the loadout from last year is I did get a lot of lighter clothing options, and that brought my base weight. My normal base weight is about 12 pounds, and now it's about 10.3 from switching the pack, getting some lighter clothes, and tossing some electronics. So that's the biggest difference between this loadout and kind of my standard loadout. All right, so let's get started. On the outside of the pack, a couple smart water bottles. I generally don't carry 2 of these. It's usually gonna be 1 of these. And then this small one right here. I just had 2 in the pack because I had them left over from our last trip. Now, in this pouch right here, usually I'll keep my tarp. I have the fanny pack in it right now. I keep the fanny pack like stored in this pouch when the pack's not being used so it doesn't like flop around. Normally I'd have the tarp, which is right here in that pouch. So my tarp is a hammock gear, 12-foot Cuban fiber hex tarp with Wilderness Logic snake skins and Dutchware stingers with 12 feet of zinget on each side. Great tarp. Also in this pouch, keep my stakes. I am gonna be switching them out. Right now I have the Vargo Titanium Ascent stakes. We did a stake video a couple months ago. I don't like these stakes. I'm gonna be switching to a groundhog style, and I've been carrying 6 Vargo stakes, and I'm dropping down to 4 probably groundhogs. So the weight probably won't change. And I've got the Z-Packs Cuban fiber stake bag, which is awesome. Additionally, I don't have it in the fanny pack right now, but I always keep a tried and true handkerchief, and I always keep a Swiss Army knife, a tiny one. That will go in here with all my camera gear. Obviously, you can't see the camera gear right now because we're using 2 cameras. And our camera gear this season is a Canon M50 with a 22mm f2.0 lens, an Canon M series lens with a Rode VideoMic Go, and a couple spare batteries and an SD card. The total weight of that camera system is just under 1.5 pounds. Now, my base weight I quoted you with does not include that camera gear. We'll add that in at the end. But the camera gear goes in the fanny pack. It's a great way to carry camera gear. We've already taken this on a trip. Check that out if you want to see how it works. But this is kind of a new system for us. So usually I'll have the water in one pouch and tarp in the other. I always keep my water filter in the back. This is a Sawyer Squeeze. You can't not pictured. I have a 2-liter Evernew bag and then a little scoop. That always stays on the outside of my pack, just because so I have easy access to it. Another thing that always stays on the outside of my pack are my tree straps. These are the Dutchware propylene, polypropylene tree straps with the Dutchware carabiners on there. And then, of course, the final item on the outside of the pack, our beloved chair, the Helinox Chair Zero. And we had Chris, if you've seen we have an overview video on this pack, we had him design this loop system specifically for the chair, and it works great. So Helinox Chair Zero goes right there. So that's honestly, there are some other things that are kind of trip dependent that I will put on the outside of the pack. For instance, fire starters, maybe a can of gas. Some other stuff will rotate into the outside, but the base outside stuff is just what you see. The pack itself, we briefly touched on it. It's a 40-liter light AF curve pack in like Stormtrooper all white with the black on the back. And the total weight of this pack is like a pound, which is pretty incredible. No frame, nothing like that. Works great. Let's get inside. So, first thing I have in here is kind of like my miscellaneous like sundries bag. What's in here? Everything you probably expect. So first, my headlamp, the Nightcore NU25 headlamp. This thing weighs an ounce. It's freaking awesome. We switched to this last year. Really like these headlamps. I slimmed down the weight of this pouch a lot, and that was a decent amount of weight savings. So I used to keep, you know, on the long trips, I'm keeping a 10 or 20,000 milliamp external battery in here. Don't have that. Some, you know, vitamin I pills, a way too big of a bag of wet wipes. I just haven't changed them out yet. So, you know, the #2 kit goes in here. Now, one thing, I don't carry a trowel. I'm not there yet. I've been getting by with the tent stake or the trekking pole. Not pictured on my trekking poles, Gossamer Gear trekking poles, LT4s, LT5s. Never remember. Have my cordage in here. This is something I might stop carrying when I'm going with more people, because I always take cordage and we always both bring cordage and we never end up using both sets of cordage usually. But this is about 30-40 feet of Lawson glow wire, and I love glow wire for bear lines, critter lines, drying lines, anything like that. I do keep the Cuban fiber Dyneema repair pouch. There's some like excess Tylenol pills in this. I always keep a Cuban fiber repair pouch. It's just tape and a little piece of Cuban, and it weighs nothing. Peace of mind if I've ripped the tarp or something like that. Just some random bandages, part of the first aid kit. And this is cool. This is actually a light AF first aid pouch, but I don't use it as a first aid pouch. I keep all the camera stuff that I don't need to have me like on the go in this bag. So the batteries, the spare batteries, the spare SD card, and I carry like a little lens wipey thing. That goes in this little light AF. I just like this little bag, and it's nice to keep all the camera gear in here, the extra camera gear. So the main camera body and the microphone are going in the fanny pack, and then the extra batteries, the SD card stuff are all going in that bag, and this is kind of like my miscellaneous bag. Food bag, new item this year too. We got the light AF, I forget what he calls this, his little bear bag, I think. To be honest, it's not that much lighter than the Z-Packs one, but the Z-Packs bear bag is so big, it's unnecessary for a 3-day trip. So we got the light AF ones, really like it. So my alcohol stove fuel bottle it's just like an 8-ounce bottle I got from REI, nothing special. Still going strong. Now, here's the difference than my normal loadout. So on these 2-3, you know, frameless ultralight trips we're gonna start doing, and if it's just me going with Andy or somebody else and my wife's not coming, I'm probably not gonna bring my big Snow Peak mini solo kit. It's like a 2.5 cup pot. It's completely unnecessary for one person. So I've done this on trips now. I've just been taking my Toke's little coffee pot and boiling my water I need to eat food out of it. That actually got rid of like 3 ounces right there by not taking the huge mini solo pot. So I've got a Toke's spork. I've got a full-size Bic because I don't know where my mini one is. I always keep a little like Dayquil little thing for measuring out alcohol. My stove is a Zelf Fancy Feast stove. I've been using this for like 2 years now. It's my go-to. If you've seen our videos lately, I've been using a pocket rocket only because we have a can of gas we've been trying to bleed dry for like years, but normally my go-to is this Zelf Fancy Feast. I have a titanium windscreen, and then the Toke's, I think it's a 400 milliliter titanium coffee cup. So that's my cook kit. Normally there's a Snow Peak mini solo 2 or 3 cup thing on the outside that all this sits in, but honestly for these 2, 3, even 4 day trips when I'm going with other people and I only need to to worry about water for myself, this does the job fine. And I put this in my food bag. So on my Ark haul, I had an exterior pouch I would put my cook kit in. Not the case here. I just get, because on a 2, 3, 4 day trip, this food bag is gonna be fine, and I'll have some extra room to put this in there. All right, now we're getting to the fun stuff. My hammock. This is a Dutchware Chameleon with just the regular bug net on it. That's the standard loadout. Now I have a ton of accessories that I rotate in with this hammock, but we're talking frameless loadouts here. That's, you know, 1, 2, maybe 3 day trips. Might not be taking the sidecar, might not be taking the top cover. I don't know, it honestly depends. The standard loadout though is the Chameleon with the peak loft and the bug net. And we have his Dyneema bishop bag, which we really like. Double-ended stuff sack, right, not a bishop bag. So I debated whether keeping this in there because this loadout is really, it's a 3 season, but we're really gonna be using this like May through September. So it's like a warm 3 season summer kind of loadout, but I do have my puffy jacket. Mountain Hardwear Ghost Whisperer. It's great. It's great for what it is. It weighs like ½ a pound, which is awesome, and it's fairly warm. I keep saying I'm gonna replace it, but it just hasn't officially died on me yet. So my clothes, I always keep my clothes in a Z-Packs medium plus, I think, cylinder dry bag. I also keep my pillow in here. Now I've gone back and forth on the pillow. Sometimes I use a Cocoon Air Core. Sometimes I use a Dutchware Argon pillow, which I don't think he makes anymore. It depends. I just go back and forth. I might go back to this. I've been using the Air Core for the last couple trips, but it's really just, it's too big. This is just sometimes too small. So usually I'll take like a piece of clothing and put it underneath this, but Dutchware Argon pillow, super light. New addition for this year is I got a dedicated backpacking rain jacket. Bought the Bullet on the Outdoor Research Helium 2. Awesome jacket. It weighs like 6 or 7 ounces, and I use it for running too. I still have an Arc'teryx like Beta SL jacket, but that's more like my around town rain jacket now. It was just getting too gross for backpacking. Clothing I bring on my trip. Now my hiking clothing, we haven't gone through it. It's a pair of Patagonia 9 Trails hiking shorts with some sort of technical t-shirt on top. It's usually some sort of Patagonia, like a Capilene Air or just like a technical tee from a race I did. But I love the Patagonia shorts. Now clothes, extra clothes I bring. I always bring an extra pair of underwear, the Ex Officios. I always bring an extra pair of socks, the Darn Toughs. Here's my second one. A new item we got last year, but it's worked my way into the steady rotation, is the Patagonia Air Shed pullover. This thing weighs like 2 ounces. It's super light. Cut a lot of weight by bringing this in and leaving like a long sleeve t-shirt out. But I love this, and it's super light. It's kind of like a wind layer, but it comes with me on almost all my trips now. Now, the last item, these are my Patagonia R1 tights. Most of the trips I bring this loadout on, I'm probably not bringing tights because most of these trips we're doing are going to be in May, June, July, August. But having said that, I'm pretty sure I'm going to bring tights to our PCT trip this year, so I kept them in. What you don't see me holding up here are camp shoes. I have Shama sandals, love them as camp shoes. Basically, on 99% of trips, I'm going to switch them out for the tights, and they weigh about the same. Actually, the tights are a little bit heavier. But most of the time when I'm bringing tights, I'm not bringing camp shoes. And most of the time I'm bringing camp shoes because they basically only come in the summer when I just don't want to wear my shoes at camp because it's too hot. I'm not bringing the tights. So not pictured of the Shama sandals. They come when I don't bring the tights, but for the next trip I'm going on, I'm bringing tights and not bringing sandals. But this is by far, other than my puffy, this is like the heaviest piece of gear. So those are all my clothes. I also have a pair of Dutchware, what he calls his laundry shorts. Those get brought in during the summer trips and they weigh like 1 ounce, and this weight gets even lighter. But like I said, the next trip I'm going on, we're going next weekend, and the temps are not gonna be summer temps, so the shorts aren't coming. So those are my clothes. The last things in here are the quilts, and they're in a Nyla Flume stuff sack like Andy. Sometimes I use Cuban fiber sacks. Sometimes I use this liner. I'm trying to use the liner more than the stuff sacks because it makes more sense. So in that, I've got, it's so loud, my Enlightened Equipment Revelation, right? Yes, I never remember the name of this quilt. I have a 30-degree long. This quilt's like 17 ounces. For a 30-degree long quilt, that's freaking incredible. Love this quilt. And then my 3-season under quilt is the Hammock Gear 20-degree incubator, which I do really like. And I've got the black on the outside and Moroccan blue on the inside. And it's just a lot lighter than my underground quilt's under quilt. So that's it. That is my, what I'm calling my frameless 3-season, more kind of like a 2-season, honestly. Because, you know, in the summer, this is going to change a little bit. But that's it. The total base weight, not included camera gear, is literally like 10.3 pounds, which is pretty freaking incredible considering we bring a chair. Now, I'm not including camera weight. A lot of people like to cheat and they don't care. They don't consider like camera weight part of their base weight. We carry it, so we consider it part of our base weight. So if you throw in the just under 1.5 pounds of camera gear, we're looking at about 11.5 to 12 pounds full base weight with a chair, with a hammock, with a full camera, mirrorless setup. So we think that's pretty good. So yeah, that's going to be our, we're calling it like our frameless loadout for this year. We're trying to do more quote unquote ultralight frameless style trips, just because at the end of the day, half of our trips at least are 1 or 2 nights, and we can get by with a frameless loadout. We don't need an arc haul. Now, we're not getting rid of the arc haul, I'm not selling it, I'm keeping it, because most years, this year's an exception, most years we're going on a 7-day trip, and I'm not getting a 7-day trip into that pack, even though I probably could. If I lost the tights, lost some things, I probably could do it. Bryce basically did it last year, but I'm just gonna use the arc haul. It's only an extra like 14 or 15 ounces, but that's like 1 trip a year. But as I said, this year our big trip is 2 like mini trips, so we're gonna do it with the frameless. So that's it, that's our loadout. About a pound, 1.5 pounds lighter than it was last year. A lot of that being the pack, but some of that being clothing, etc. So thank you all for watching. Comment down below. We're super excited to start this backpacking season and use these new packs and all this fun new gear. We will see everybody out on the trail.